Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gate Plaza in Shapir. And yes, Alichika had just tried to sell us a duck. So now we can go ahead and walk up to him, and since I'm in the habit of doing so, why don't I go ahead and try greeting him. You know what, forget the greeting him, I'll just ask him about a duck. Okay, here we go. Why a duck? I tell you, why a duck? Say you on top of a mountain. You on top of this mountain and you want to get down. Well, you no get down off a mountain. You get down off a duck. There you have it. And this is a very special duck. It will save your life. Say you get lost in the desert. You get lost and you no can find your way. You hungry and thirsty and you don't know what to do. Then you take out your duck and it will save you. You make a duck soup. Yes, Marx Brothers references abound, and that is what I was complaining about before, that you can't ask him about a duck. It turns out that you can ask him about a duck, you just have to wait until he actually tries to sell you one, and then magically he suddenly learns what a duck is. I'm also going to try thanking people randomly, because allegedly that raises your honor as well. I think a lot of the time it just does nothing. Yeah, I mean, it didn't impact my honor in this case, but whatever. Okay, so let's continue. I think, yeah, we're still on day 2, but I've already covered most of the of what we need to see in the city, other than, well, the stuff around the Fountain Plaza, but that I can do a little later. I mean, that's no rush. Other than that, we've unlocked most of the stuff around the city, except for Aziza's house, which is at the end of this little cul-de-sac here, and the Wizards Institute of Technossery, which is up here. I am planning to do the WIT, I'll do it a little bit later, but let's go ahead and meet Aziza. My favorite character in the game. Huzzah! Alright, let's see now. So I can just keep going. Yeah, I'll just keep going. So, let's see. Those of you who remember the original of this game remember that Aziza had a lot to say. She's probably the single most important source of information in the entire game, which is good, but I'm probably going to skip through a lot of the things that she says because she talks a lot, and the things she says are important, but, you know, we already covered them. Oh, this is Khalza Darb, Garuka Singh Avenue. Garuka Singh Khalza being, I believe, the producer of this game, as well as several other Sierra. Well, not this remake, but the original Quest for Glory 2, as well as several other Sierra adventures. Garuka Singh Khalza was the producer for many Sierra adventures. Anyway, yeah, I already, you know, obviously did the original of this game and went through all the things that Aziza has to say, and it's really just going to take too long, I think, if I do it again, because, you know, you folks have already seen it. Sit Tariq is Lady Street. That's interesting. Alright, here we go. There's a door with an eye, and it's rather different from the eye cursor that you can click on things. The door seems to be watching you. Oh. Sally has several well-tended plants lining the walls. Can you do anything with the plants? No. Don't plant your lips there. It didn't happen this time. Let me see if I can make it happen, actually, because sometimes what happens when you go into this... No, it's not doing it now. Sometimes when you come into this room, the Prince of Persia from the second Prince of Persia game can actually be seen leaping across these wall tops here. It's kind of awesome. But anyway, let me go ahead and save as Aziza's door. And let's see, what can we do at the door? We can, what if we just try to open the door? You can't open the door. Open door. No. Can we listen at the door? Sounds as if there's a stream trickling on the other side of the purple door. Okay, maybe somebody's using the restroom. That doesn't... Okay, I was worried that trying to eavesdrop out the door might make me lose some honor, but apparently it doesn't. Let's go ahead and knock on the door, which is obviously the polite thing to do. Who is it that seeks to enter? I think you need to actually type in your correct name, or else the person on the other side of the door says, I don't admit those who don't even know who they are, or something to that effect. Who is it that sent you here? Now, I don't think that, let's see, who has sent us here? I think Rakesh, actually mentioned Aziza, so I guess we can go ahead and say him. Usually I'd come on the recommendation of Keeping laughing. I think you can even say Erasmus, which is weird because Erasmus the wizard doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't suggest that you go visit Aziza. But why don't I go ahead and say Rakesh, because I'm pretty sure that he already... Yeah. Who injured the leg of Rakesh? I think just saying demon is sufficient. Oh, and this is the same riddle as in the first game. My first is last one in the first, blah, blah, blah. So this means the first letter of the name is the letter A, the second letter is the letter Z, or Z, the last letter in the alphabet. Next comes myself, letter I, then back to the end, Z or Z again, beginning again. Aziza. You may enter freely into my home, late blight. Ooh, do I get to enter? Alright. Come in, sit down, and we shall speak. Okay, so this is what they've done, obviously, with Aziza the Enchantress. For the most part, I'm happy with it. She's not, obviously not super sexy or gorgeous, but then again, Aziza is really meant to be the kind of character who's more quietly pretty than, you know, supermodel gorgeous. And she's certainly not unattractive. If you've seen the poster, the official poster for this game, they actually made it, they actually have her on it, and she has the same sort of look, but she's very cartoonish. It's sort of a Disney cartoonish sort of look of what an enchantress would look like. And I was a little worried about that because she's kind of the kind of character who you'd want to take a little bit more seriously. But they, I think they did her justice here. I mean, all her features are pretty much in place. The eyeshadow is a little bit much, maybe, but everything else about her seems, you know, as she was described in the portrait at WIT, she's quietly formal, but still attractive. So I approve of this. Let's see. Aziza's beauty, knowing master intensity, purposefulness, and the aura of power around her. It is good when in her presence to be on your best behavior. Yes, you wouldn't like her angry, or maybe you would. Let's go ahead and sit down since she invited us to. Shall we share tea? And usually when I visit people, I answer no to those kinds of offers, but here in this game, it's considered polite to say yes. It's actually impolite to say no, so sure. Tea is cool and refreshing. You find yourself relaxing as you drink and listen to the sound of flowing water. Now that we have shared tea, what is it for which you have come? So we can do a lot of things with Aziza, but not the things that we really want to do, of course. We can greet her. Welcome. It is good to have a visitor who understands the proper way to enter conversation. You can try to kiss her. Obviously she doesn't. You're most brash, but I will assume that you mean only to flatter me. Let's not make the thief sign. Let me go ahead and save, actually. Talking with Aziza. And let's see, what are the different things that we can talk about? Her name means highly prized. It was the name of my mother. My magic is very practical. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not going to read through all this because there's so much that she can say. Rasir has been closed. She'll try a different kind of spell to see if she can gain more information about Rasir. She works mostly with water magic. As water can reflect, I too can reflect spells back upon the caster. There is much magic in this land, some of a very dark nature. Water is the element of healing and life. She uses it in all her magical workings. Magic can be misused for ill purposes. A foe can seem to be a friend, and the victim is helpless against the foe. The more powerful the magic, the more likely that it can be used for evil purposes. Yeah, and this happens later in the game. Her spells allow her to see things at a distance and know their true nature. Magic games. Oh, Keepin likes to engage in magical games with visitors every so often. That's something that they added in this remake. Keepin Laughin' has a magic game that you can play with him, and Aziza also has a magic game that you can play with her after you've been through WIT. We'll see that later, but obviously not yet because we haven't been through it yet. Daily news. She's not familiar with idle gossip. She's too good to gossip. See why I like Aziza? She's just such a noble woman. She has such integrity. She won't even gossip about people. She's awesome. The city was built around the magic fountain which flows freely, protected by the mountains, and the desert has known only peace and prosperity until now. She doesn't know much about the end because she has this nice house to stay in. The fountain is magical fountain is a symbol for the city. She is no friend to thieves. Astrologer is fond of making predictions of things to come. Some of the things of which he speaks actually come to pass. Little subtle dig at the astrologer there. The Kata are clever people. They work only at things they enjoy. The Sultan Harun al-Rashid is the most wise ruler. He often consults me for information about things. I wonder if that's why she considers him wise, because he often consults with her and takes her advice. Aziza's a little bit haughty. She's just a little bit stuck up and seems to think that everybody should listen to her. But she's one of those people who actually is usually right, and therefore it makes sense to listen to her. She's one of those people who always thinks she's right, but the problem is she usually is, and so she can get away with it. He has a good deal of understanding by people and knows how to best to use them. He is doing everything in his power to prevent the ill omens from coming to pass. Alright. Desert. The Ifrit make the hot desert sands their home. They are seldom seen. We can ask about Jinn, and this is totally important because we'll only meet one type of Jinn in this game, so we can ask her about these different things, but just I'm not even going to bother dwelling on them. Oh. Iblis is important, though. Iblis once sought to rule the world and created a great city in the middle of the desert, but Suleiman ben Daud summoned all the Jinn to rise against Iblis. Iblis was bound in a statue, and his mighty city was destroyed to become his tomb. Iblis is important. And remember also the name Suleiman bin Daud. Rasir was like a twin to Shapir until a year ago this month. The Emir Ars was overthrown and disappeared. His brother now sits on the throne. There is a darkness over the city which he cannot see through with all her magic. The Emir Ars was a foolish man who ruled more with his heart than his head. There is magic involved in his disappearance. Since he has been gone, the city of Rasir has fallen into dark times, and many have fled the new tyranny. Yes, Rasir is enshrouded in darkness. Okay, so that's all the things that show up on the menu originally, but obviously since we have the typing interface, we can ask Aziza about other things, and I will continue questioning her in the next video because we have a lot more that we can talk to her about. And I think some of it is stuff that you're supposed to ask her about later, but I'll go ahead and get it out of the way now just so we can have some idea what's going on. So I'll see you folks in the next video. I hope you'll join me for more of Talking to Aziza. I'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.